Hi, Susan Elias here. Today I want to answer a question from one of my subscriber viewer. But before I do that, I'm going to give you an update on my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while since I've updated something to YouTube, but I plan to be more consistent. So stay with me. I have two new exciting videos coming your way. One of them will be a brief biography of my life as a fashion designer. The other one will be my show idea that I've sort of talked about and wanted to do for quite a while now. It'll be a two-part series where the first part will be behind the scenes interviewing people in the industry, and the second part will be a demonstration so that you can see firsthand design to life. So let's get right to it. I want to answer a question from one of my subscribers, and she's asked me to do something draping on the mannequin in a slight 1920s type of a style, a jacket or a coat. So I drew up this sketch for you in pencil, and it is a slightly double-breasted jacket with a shawl collar with flares in an A-line shape and a two-piece jacket sleeve. So here we go. Let's get started. I've already put the pin here for the apex, and since it's a little bit double-breasted, this is the center front normally right here. I'm going to make it happen right about here. So now that I have these two marks already out, actually what's fitted are just darts. And the simplest way to understand what's not fitted is to just release the dart. So if I had a dart here, which is what it wants to do if I make a straight parallel line to the floor as far as the bust level, somewhat of a good sized dart. But if I drop this bust level just a little bit, look what happens. I get like a little flare here coming from the bust level, and I get fullness. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this design. Just a simple little bit of a flare at the bust level, not so much, and then also a little bit of an A angle on the side. So I'm going to drop it just a slight bit like that. And then I'm going to put a pin here just to close that up. And I'm going to put another pin to secure the double-breasted part of the jacket. I'm going to let it flare just slightly, far down like that. All the way to the side. I'm going to secure it underneath the arm plate. I'm going to make an indication of underneath there and the cross mark for underneath. It has a very thick side seam, so I'm going to just go ahead and mark that all the way down as far as I can on that one. I'm going to lower this again. I don't know if you can see. The first thing we have to do is where this stress point of this pin, we have to cut into it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all the way to the stress point of the pin like that. Hopefully you can see that. I've released the stress on both ends at this point. Now I can smooth the shoulders. So I've got the shoulder seam, and I'm just placing pins there to hold it in place. I'm going to lift the collar, and it needs a little bit more of an angle. So let me just kind of cut this a little bit like that so that you can see what's going on. You really shouldn't do the back of the collar till the back part of the actual garment is draped. So I'm going to leave it there sort of half done. I'm releasing right here as well. And I'm going to bring this up further till we can find it where it needs to be. Here underneath the shawl collar, the first thing that has to happen is like a little dart has to happen because all this excess fabric needs to go somewhere. So I'm going to take this excess fabric right here underneath, and I'm going to make like a little bit of a dart. And it's going to be from nothing, which is right about here. And I'm going to just take in a little bit like that so we can shape this collar all the way. I wanted to do something that's sort of all in one and fairly simple to understand, hopefully. And so now when you make that dart like that, it allows the top of the collar to then form. Of course, this is a straight edge, and we would want to make it probably curved. So what I'm going to do here at the bust level is cut across like that, so then I can just maneuver that. I'm going to turn this under like this, put the pin again, I've got the bust level straight, and now I'm going to just shape this little shawl collar that I want around. You've got to work, it's going to end up bias in the back. That means the grain line is like this. So I'm going to go ahead, there's the center back of the neck. I'm going to mark that like this all the way to the neck line, which is here. This is the intersection right there. And I'm going to do a little bit of a marking there. At that point, this will go over that. I'm going to put a kind of a straight line like this. And I'm going to put a pin where I'm going to end up with where the collar is going to end up. I'm going to release it a little bit here. I'm going to take a little bit of this out of the way so that you can see that it shapes more like a collar. And I'm going to release this straight part of the grain because we don't necessarily want to follow this. We can make our own shape as we please. And in order to do that, we have to release this tension. So I'm going to start making little clips all the way around on the straight edge of the line. And it's going to then want to release, hopefully, as you can see, and smooth down. And now that I had the little bit of a dart underneath, that allows it to stay there in place. I'm going to quickly mark the shoulder seam, which is right here. And because this is a shoulder pad, I kind of have to peek to see what the center of it will be, which will probably be right there, and give you that line. It's a little bit above, extended on the shoulder, which is what you need on any kind of little jackets. I'm going to give you the cross mark like that, some little markings like this. So we have this. I'm going to draw in where the arm plate is, where the screw is right here is another intersection, important intersection that we have to have. Mark right here. So I can always replace design at that location. Let's go ahead and take this off like that. And now here is the dart. I've marked it on both sides of the pin. I'm going to take the pins out so I can draw out that shape. You hopefully can see that. And it is a curve right here. And I'm going to draw out that shape. We've got this side going like this, and then this side to a point going like this. I'm going to make it to nothing here. Let's see if I can go a little bit further. So this is where I'm going to make that. This is the intersection. Get you that. Here is the armhole. We usually want to go about an inch below, but at this point we're going to need to do this. This is about 1.25 inches down here underneath the arm plate, and then I'm going to draw a very light line for the side, just to give a true line of the shape. Now we want to go out for ease, so I'm going to go out, usually it's a 1/2 inch. I will go about a 1/2 inch from there and pull this arm plate intersection that way, and then from there you make it go to nothing on the side, because this becomes a style line and don't want to add to a style line. I have the lines going all the way down as well, and I would probably want it to, I think it's probably enough, but I could make it, you can always at this point slightly more, because just to give it more of an extreme look. So I'm going to put from this line out like that, and I'm going to go all the way down as well to the very end. I don't know, I have to fix the length later. Okay, at this point you have to have your French curve. Remember, it's the clear ruler with the holes that indicate the right form of where the armhole should be. I'm going to place it on the new dropped line and then let the shape follow exactly what it wants to follow from the intersection at the shoulder to the intersection at underneath the arm. At this point, I'm going to draw like that. And then it curves the other way to make where the back of the collar will go. So I'm just going to kind of do a curve like that. I'm going to cut some of this excess off so then you can see what's going on. I'm going to start from the shoulder and go out. I'm not going to cut too much here because I have not finished draping that, but I will cut the armhole, 1/2 inch seam allowance, like we've always put on armholes. This one should be dropped a little bit more because it is a jacket. Like I said, more than you would want for a blouse or a dress. 1/2 inch that way. And then 1/2 inch from the eased side seam, which is the finished side seam. And then we're going to about 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch here as well. Okay, all the way down. And then I'm going to trim this out with my scissors just to get all that excess fabric out of the way. And I'm going to stop there because, like I said, we can do all this on the mannequin a lot easier. So now we have that much done. I'm going to actually pin the dart together before. I'm just going to pin it this way. I'm going to fold it and just pin it with the two seams together, just sticking out like that, just for the draping process. So let's go ahead. Okay. This is something that you can start to do on your own without feeling too intimidated. Just playing around with the different shapes, playing around with the grain lines and dropping a grain line, putting a dart, taking the dart out, moving the dart. Those are all the preliminary things that you need to know in fashion design. So this is a really good basic beginning jacket that I think may help you get free and start designing again. I'm going to put my pin at the apex. I put the pin here. I carry my muslin over to the mannequin, just like that. I'm going to put this right here where this cross mark is, the shoulder at this point, and I've got this on the tip of where the shoulder pad is. And this is your side seam. Again, it's a little bit lower, and you can start to see the little bit of the shape going on right here. And this is the excess ease, so this will be filled in with the armhole. We have the shawl collar sort of performing here. I've got the dart underneath pinned. I'm releasing the top part of it, and I have it wrap around to the back like this. We've got the under seam as well, which will be right here, just right here. I don't want to pull anything. I want it to be exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to lift this up like this so then I can drape the back and it doesn't interfere with anything else. I'm going to put it back to the neck plate right here, which is right there. And then I'm going to let this cross mark be right there. And this is important grain line for you to see so that you can see all these 3 points. Let me lift this up for you. You've got the neck, you've got the shoulder blade, and then you've got the waist. And then we want to make this line go parallel again to the bottom. As you drop this, you will also get the same kind of a flare. See how a flare is developing? When I raise it, it's smooth, right? You can almost feel like where a dart would be. When you drop it, you get this flare. We want a little bit of a flare going, so we're going to drop it slightly. I'm going to put a pin right here at the shoulder level, and then I'm going to let this drop to a certain point. Now this is the part that she was wanting extra help on, and I can understand why. Because once you start doing this, you need to balancing the back piece with the front piece. So before I do that, let's smooth out the neckline. Again, with my 2 fingers, I go down, across, and sharply to the intersection of the shoulder and the neck plate. So then I'm going to go ahead and put a pin there so I can release some of this tension. I'm going to cut this way, and then I'm going to cut down. I want to release some of this tension that way, and then you want to cut up so you don't cut into the line. I'm going to cut this down as well and release a little bit of that tension. So now it should be smoothly on the back. You want it to meet the shoulder as well to see where the other one is. You can fold it back, kind of make a crease with your fingernails, turn it back, and then draw a line if you want, because that's probably the best way to get an accurate line. The rest of this will be maneuvered later. So there I am. And then at the same time here, you also have to have underneath the arm plate, which is right here. And I'm going to draw that line this way and the cross mark for the intersection of underneath the arm. There. As you take your back piece in your hand like this, and you hold it with your front piece, and you hold it out to the side, and then you sort of inch in till you get that seam allowance, because we know this is where it was, because this is right smack there. We got to do the same thing right here. I've got to make a mark right here and a cross mark, and then I have to take those two marks and then pull it out slightly so we know that the extended amount is right there. I'm going to pin those guys together going down and try to get the same feeling from the front to the back. I'm pinning from front to back. I'm holding my back like this so I can feel. At the same time, I'm inching out a little bit more of that ease. I don't know if that's showing, but I'm holding it in the front like this, and I'm going down my seam line. And I'm pinning just right down the seam line like this. I can always move it a little bit further if I feel that it's wrong. The back should be a little bit fuller anyway, so it gives you that dramatic shape towards the back. It should not be less than the front. If anything, just slightly fuller than the front. So we have this going down like that, and I have it in the back. And I don't know if you can see that as well. I'm going to take out some of this excess again, this shape. So here is the shape that you can see in the back. Once I put it in, I'll be able to do more with it. So I'm going to turn it around and pull this mannequin up further, because I'm going to go all the way down the side seam. Okay, at this point I wanted to give you a close-up of the collar, the armhole, and the side seam. I put the front back on. I've opened up the collar. I have the dart going on here at the crease of the collar. I put the shoulder seam together all the way here. I have the back neckline. I now have the back of the collar. Let me draw that a little bit further down. And I've drawn a marker for the center back of that. I folded the collar back down. This will be the center back seam, and this will be my style line of the collar from the stand all the way around, all the way to the crossbody part of the front. And it shows you the fullness in the back. It shows you the side seam at the armhole, not at the ease, but at the armhole level. And so now we're going to go ahead and put the ease and finish off the side, and I'm going to bring that to you right now. At that point, I'm going to be putting a two-piece sleeve sloper. I have certain sleeves that I use for certain purposes, and this, I will show you the sleeve pattern, because we're not going to go into drafting that, because that would be a whole episode in itself. I'm going to take this off, and this is my two-piece sleeve sloper. Here's this part and this part. And this is the kind of sloper that is used for a jacket. Now I have the piece that's actually finished. I'm going to put it on the mannequin for you here. I'm putting it back at the apex on the mannequin right there. I have the double-breasted point right there. I've got this in the center back at the neckline. This is the neckline. This is the neckline seam. We have the center back. We have the waist, and it's pinned that way. Now I put the collar back down. This is where it folds. I'm going to put it pins this way so you can see. I'm going to use my marker and give you the center back, which is right here, all the way down. This would be the intersection, and I can draw the finished shape of the collar by just lightly drawing it in marker all the way around. We can finish that on the flat as well. At this point, I cut and sewed the two-piece sleeve. The two-piece sleeve has a seam about midway around the armhole of the back, which is right here, allowing you to have a closure here with buttons or zipper or just sewn straight. And then now that I've got it balanced, I want you to see the shape. The shape is just a slight flare. It's balanced, meaning it's not going more to the right or more to the left, as well as the sleeve is very balanced. And the way you want to see how the sleeve is balanced is that the sleeve will want to go just slightly forward, which is what it's doing right now. That's how you want the sleeve to go. And there you have it. A simple draped shawl collar design so that you can hopefully feel creative and free to create more. And thank you for watching, and please take a moment to subscribe, like my page if you like it, give me a comment, look at my other videos, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.